Hi there, it's Brian here and welcome to vlog number 1. I gotta be honest, I still have zero idea what I'm going to do with this vlog exactly, but I figured I'm just gonna start the cameras and let them roll and just talk about some things that I like. So the first thing that I'm gonna talk about, of course, is Scotch whiskey. So I love Scotch whiskey. I'm not a connoisseur or anything, I just like drinking it. And It's Friday night, and today I just wanted to sit back and have a drink and enjoy myself. In case you're wondering, this is the Auchentoshan American Oak. It's a very affordable whiskey. It's very nice. The box says it has, what has it got? Flavors of vanilla, coconut, and citrus. I don't know. It just tastes good, and it's like less than $100, so you can't go wrong with that. But the other thing I wanted to talk about was, I changed my camera recently, or at least one of my cameras. I have, what's called gear acquisition syndrome with a lot of photographers, and I don't have a lot of gear, but I do tend to spend more than I probably should, and I lust after everything that I don't have. But my setup is pretty simple, and I recently, I don't know what you call it, did I downgrade or upgrade my camera? I don't know. But what I did was I had bought a Micro Four Thirds camera a little while ago, a couple of years ago, and I actually absolutely loved it, but I did sell it in favor of a Nikon D5500, and there was a couple of reasons I did that, and so I thought I would just kind of go through that, why I made that choice, as well as kind of a review, I guess, of the D5500, just to kind of lay out my thoughts. So first of all, the Micro Four Thirds camera that I had was the Olympus EPL7. The reason I bought it was because it was really affordable for a Micro Four Thirds camera. It had, like, at the time, it had the same sensor and processing engine as EM1, I think it was, or something. It looked really cool. It had that kind of silver black retro styling. I don't have it anymore, obviously, but that's what it had. The other reasons I bought it was, obviously the portability, the weight of the thing was really important, or I felt it was really important at the time. The images that I saw from Micro Four Thirds cameras was just amazing, especially when you look at photographers like Sean Archer. That's a pseudonym, but you could probably look that up. You'll see amazing images, portraits from him online, and yeah, I just wanted to try something new. So what I really did like about that system was, probably the number one strength I like with that system was that, what you saw on the LCD screen is what you got. And so when you switch the dials, and change the settings, it would actually change the exposure in real time, and you could see what you were going to get, and that really actually upped the artistic game for me. I could play around with different, light and shadows and different things like that, and it really appealed to me. The other thing I really liked was its speed of focus and accuracy of focus was just bang on. Like, it was super sharp. The lenses they make for that is really sharp, and I was just really impressed with that. But the reason I sold it, actually, and this was basically the only reason, was that the video functionality on it wasn't quite what I was hoping for. And I guess when I bought it, I wasn't thinking that I would be doing any video at all. And in my current day job, I started using video a little bit more, and so I started becoming a little bit more in tune with what was available with video and how to shoot video and all that kind of stuff. So it was increasingly frustrating me that I couldn't do certain things with that video. One of those things, and a big thing, was that I couldn't run a secondary audio system in to the camera without recording separate audio. So it was onboard audio or nothing. Or I guess I could have bought an adapter, some CMA thing or whatever, but in the end, the audio settings weren't there, and really I think it's the audio that really makes video pop. So you can actually have really trashy looking video, but if the audio sucks, then it just doesn't seem professional. So and I was using it for professional reasons, so I needed some of those audio features. So anyway, after all of that, I ended up with the I ended up going to the camera store, and I ended up asking to see what the Nikon D5500 was like. And I know you Canon fanboys will be like, well, The Canon lineup is better for video. There's lots of videos out there that prove that. But I had a lot of Nikon glass because my main system was a Nikon DSLR for shooting photography. So I have a lot of Nikon glass. I'm used to the Nikon menu system. I really like Nikon image quality from a stills format, and I was still shooting more stills than video. So I figured that I still wanted to stay with Nikon instead of reinvesting in a whole nother system, which would probably meant having to get rid of all my other Nikon bodies and glass, and some of those bodies are film, so that's really tough to replace. So anyway, I went with the Nikon D5500. I read some of the reviews that said that the autofocus was kind of crappy and that sort of thing, and I bought it anyway. But I did want to kind of go through some of the things that I really like about this camera, and yeah, give you a little bit of a real world review. So first and foremost, I think what really made me fall in love with this thing right off the bat was the hand grip. So, you know, when the sales rep gave it to me, it was amazing. I just put it in my hand and it feels incredible. Like this, the weight, and I was so used to shooting now with heavier DSLRs that the weight of this, it didn't seem anymore like there was a major difference in between the Micro Four Thirds system and this one, at least in the body. And I understand that the lenses are all still a little bit heavier and whatnot, but this feels incredible in the hand. It's very comfortable to shoot. It doesn't weigh you down. I have on here right now the 50mm 1.8G. It's also a very lightweight lens, so this whole kit to me doesn't feel burdensome or overwhelming in any way, so it was a really good kit. The other thing I really liked was the size of this. The size of the screen is really big, and again, I'm not comparing it to other cameras. I'm just saying that I really like the size of it. It has that flippy out, tilty, screeny thing, so you can kind of do this, you know, if you're shooting video and watching, or, you know, if you're doing the whole selfie thing, which actually works really well for vlogging. I'm actually shooting this right now on my older DSLR, just so that I could show this to you, but from now on, I think I'll be shooting my vlogs with this D5500. So, really great camera. I really like it. The other thing I really like about it is I actually started my digital photography with the Nikon D5000 series, the first D5000, and I got really used to the menu system, but there were some things that I found were lacking, and that was it was a little bit difficult for me to adjust ISO on the fly. And this camera actually here has the function button, which from the factory was programmed to ISO. And that's really handy because I also hold my camera a lot like this, and so it's sitting there right on my thumb the entire time, and it makes it super easy. So the touchscreen also works extremely well, so I don't really have to go into the menus too much to change the white balance settings or the focus settings or anything like that. So I'm not saying that this is as good as, say, a higher end level DSLR, because there are certain things I do miss from the bigger DSLRs, which is kind of the dual dials is super nice, and that display screen on top is also really nice. But for what this is, I think this is amazing. It's a great camera. More video centric though, and that's the main reason I bought it, was to shoot more video. There are some downfalls to it, and as you probably read with a lot of the reviews, the autofocus system does seem to be slow, and it's also noisy, really noisy. And so if you aren't using an external microphone and you're just using your onboard mic, you're going to hear that thing focus if you have it in autofocus mode, and it's super annoying. The other thing that I find is somewhat annoying is when you do plug a mic in, your mic jack's on this side, but then when you flip out your flippy tilty screen, it doesn't it can't swivel all the way around, so you lose some functionality on your swivel screen when you have a mic in there, which you know, would be somewhat important. But I can still put the mic in there and have the camera set to selfie mode so that I can see what I'm shooting if I'm in front of the camera, so that's really nice. The other thing that you'll probably hear a lot about Nikon cameras is, for whatever reason, you can't adjust aperture in live view. Again, I still have no idea why. But why Nikon hasn't upgraded that feature, but that would be really handy. Nikon, I know lots of photographers ask for that, but that would also be really great. So from a functionality standpoint, so that's kind of the outer looking of it, but from a functionality standpoint, I'll show you some images here that I took, and I've only done 2 shoots with it since I got it, still photography, and you know, it is this is the highest megapixel camera that I do own. So all my other cameras are 16 megapixels, or yeah, they're all 16 megapixels at this point, and so this is my first 24 megapixel. I wouldn't say that I noticed a difference, you know, in editing or anything like that, but I do notice that there's quite a bit of dynamic range in this camera. I'm really pleased with that. The noise is better than some of my other cameras as well, so it handles noise really well. Image quality is superb, and you know, I generally use primes, so they tend to be sharp. But I also shoot wide open, so I really notice when I miss focus because it tends to put the whole thing out of focus. But I wouldn't say that's the fault of the camera. Other than the live view focusing, the focusing on this works extremely well. So I would recommend it for video shooting if you are already a Nikon user and you have a lot of Nikon kit, and you want to use the same glass on all your cameras. It'll work very well that way, but the autofocus does lack. So, all right, I've done a lot of talking and not enough drinking, so this vlog is officially